Hello, my name is Leonard Jowers. I've recently done a video presentation on FCI CUI. It's a long one, but things have changed recently. In the last few weeks, um, some changes have come about that affects FCI particularly. So I thought that it would be appropriate for me to do a release here. Just if someone wants to find out about what those changes are, then that's what this is about. The views, opinions, and our findings contained in this document, in this material, are those of the authors and not of the U.S. an official position of the U.S. government. And in the policy or decision, unless designated by some official document. So, federal contract information. Federal contract information, that is, things that are provided, information is provided under a contract, a U.S. government contract, it's provided by or will be generated by the contract. They're to be considered as FCI if, one, they're not intended for public release, and two, neither are they classified nor are they CUI, controlled unclassified information. Both of those types of information are covered otherwise. So if that kind of federal contract information is, it's what we call FCI. So FCI has been protected under the FAR 52.204-21 for some 15 years. And if you haven't been compliant, you need to get yourself compliant because it's getting a lot of scrutiny right now. FAR 20-21 has been renumbered, not renamed, to FAR 240-93. Same content, same name, only the number has changed to protect the innocent, if you know where that came from. So the -21 document, so familiar to us, I've kept that use in this presentation for the most part. So Federal Acquisition Requirement -21, it mandates the minimum security safeguards for FCI. How FCI is to be handled on a contractor system. And FCI, the FAR-21, FAR 252.204-21, may apply to any contract. Remember, you have a couple of ways that things are carved out. If it's all CUI, then it's all CUI and it's not FCI. But you can be assured that the safeguards are greater for CUI. But if it doesn't say that it's FCI, and if it doesn't say 52-204-21 or now -93, you must consider it still FCI, unless you know that it's exempted by the fact that the government says it can be released. The Christian doctrine back in 1963. A court case ruled that even if it's not mentioned, that you have to protect it. And there are 15 protections that are required by the 52.204-21. And subcontracts must also follow the requirements put on FCI. So the big change here is DFAR's 52.204-7020 has been replaced by 52.240-7997. And that's effective February the 1st of this year. And what it did is it removed all references to basic assessments. You may think of them as low assessment, or you may think of them as level 1 assessments. So the 7997 document does not contain any talk about basic assessments. However, keep in mind, contractors are still required to self-attest. So remember the old 70-20 document set it up so that you had to do a self-assessment, but now this one says you still have to, it doesn't say, but you still have to self-attest because of the -21 document. So you have to be in compliance with the -21 document. So the good news out of this is the change to 7997 eliminated the requirements for contractors to upload a basic NIST SP 800-171 self-assessment score and SPURS to the government. Now, that's not to say that you don't have to do it, but the requirement that used to be in 70-20 does not exist in 7997. So you may not have to do that. And we'll talk about that in a second. So this, if you're exempted from doing uploading a SPURS, it does reduce the internal costs associated with those tasks. But keep in mind, this change was not to make it cheaper for you to do, but in fact, it will make it somewhat cheaper. This also reduces administrative cost risk associated with mandatory reporting. So, contractors must still self-attest to be compliant with the -21 document, that is the FAR 52.240-93. And you may find either one of those in the solicitation now. Minimum and high requirements remain the same. And keep in mind for both of these, whether it's self-attest or self-assessment, that there are risks involved with making false statements about cybersecurity requirements. Well, the big however has to do with the relation between DFARS 252.204-21 and DFARS 252.204-7021. If their prime contract requires CMMC status verification under DFARS 252.204-7021, that is, if it mentions it, then subcontractors will be required to maintain status in SPURS. So don't miss that one. So if you found this information to be informational, please like it and tell your friends so that others will know that it might be worth your time. That's my email address back there. Feedback's appreciated. If you see that I've made any errors, I'd like to know that too, because it takes a bit to go and figure all this out. And, I'm hoping that this has been correct all the way through. But always a chance I made a mistake. Thank you.